I think years ago you couldn't get into the army with tattoos on the back of your head and on your hands and on your back and your legs and your stomach. Army recruitment crisis surprised people with asthma, which I've got myself, and hold on, I'm trying to find where my asthma are. If you've not got asthma, then fair enough. People with asthma, as you can see, that's a blue one, that's a red one. I don't know if they're saying they're going to eventually put people in the army with asthma and if they can fight, or people with tattoos, they may do that if there's not enough army personnel. We'll have to listen to a bit more of it on the TV. This is on CBS News or CBI News Live. This is what they said about 13 minutes ago. So this is today's news. So they may employ people with asthma and tattoos, depending what tattoos you've got. If you've got tattoos at the back of your head, I'm not too sure. They may have changed the rules. We'll have to find out and see what they say.
The Army should ditch its restrictions on hiring soldiers with tattoos and those with a history of asthma to solve this recruitment crisis. Those are the words of Capita, the firm responsible for armed forces recruitment. It comes as it was revealed the firm had only recruited around half its
asthma there.
target of soldiers.
I don't know if they're talking about not hiring tattoos and asthma or
70% of the goal by the end of March. Slightly worrying given everything that's going on in the world, isn't it? Now, joining me now is former Royal Navy Commander, Rear Admiral Chris Parry. Chris, thank you, if I can call you Chris, thank you so much for joining me today. Now, with everything going on in the world, it's frankly a very scary place, and it seems to be getting scarier. We do have an issue with recruitment in all our armed forces, but in particular the Navy, I understand, is suffering more than others. So what is wrong with hiring people with maybe an unusual haircut or with tattoos?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but I do worry when a company that has consistently failed over 2 decades to actually help recruiting suggests we actually go out and recruit a wider pool. That suggests it's their commercial objectives that are driving things without strategic needs. Now, Dawn, the bottom line is I don't mind who signs up to fight the king's enemies. I'll take anybody along to tell you the truth. But it's horses for courses. You know, you can't have people with asthma doing some of these high-energy tasks that you're seeing at the moment. You can't have people with tattoos fronting up a guard of honour, for example, for a foreign dignitary that actually despises in his culture tattoos. So the problem is that we have to have a scale of uniformity, both in terms of fitness and appearance, to project the operational capability and image that we need to prevail both in peace and war.
So basically you think this would be maybe lowering our standards too much and that the recruiting firm in charge of this, basically Capita, aren't doing a very good job?
They're doing a dreadful job and they're getting paid a lot of money for it. The thing is, Dawn, look, if you look at Ukraine now, you take somebody with tattoos or with asthma into the front line,
there we go.
You couldn't expect in every job for them to be as operationally effective or indeed presentational as you would need them to be for every task. So you'd have to park them, if you like, in certain jobs. But then, of course, you get the equality lobby saying, well, actually, why can't people with asthma do this? Well, the fact of life is they can't actually run 100 metres without having to treat themselves.
Yeah.
So these things are just gimmicks, Dawn. You know, we can recruit enough people. The trouble is we're putting people off joining the armed forces because the offer is not good enough, to tell you the truth. And I'm afraid to say we're alienating most of society by trying to introduce absolutely ludicrous diversity and equality conventions.
So we should actually, I mean, basically, Chris, make sure that the best people get the jobs rather than just doing a box-ticking exercise to make sure we have the right amount of women, the right amount of whatever diversity box you want to tick.
Yeah, we've got to be fair. We want the best people to serve our country. When I used to command sailors, marines, soldiers and airmen, I used to say, look, you play at international level for your country. That means you've got to be really good. And the best people don't join for the money. They don't join for their own narcissistic reasons. They join to serve their country. They like the idea of duty, honour and sacrifice. Those are the people we need to reach out to. But at the moment, I'm afraid every single piece of transactional sort of legislation and transactional sort of convention is putting those people off.
So what should be done, Chris, to appeal to more of the right people to get involved, to sign up?
Well, I think we've got to start caring for our people a bit better. I had a discussion recently with a high street retailer CEO, and he said, well, of course, the armed forces are just like another job, isn't it? And I said, well, can I just stop you there? You don't exactly ask the people who serve in your shops to risk their lives and their health defending your knickers counter. There's this sort of idea somehow that the armed forces are just another job. They're not. You actually put yourself in harm's way on behalf of this country, and we need to reflect that. And people will sign up. The best recruiter, Dawn, is when we have a war, because people see the point of it. And we're in a very dangerous world, as you pointed out. Now, we've got to say to our people, we value you, you play at international level, and therefore we'll treat you like that.
Sorry, Chris, we've run out of time there. Thank you so much. Very, very interesting to talk to you. Appreciate your time. That's
there we are.
Chris Parry, a former NATO commander.
Like I say, lots of people have jobs with asthma, and you could be a security guard with asthma probably, and be a doctor or be a nurse, or work in the NHS or be a fireman, I don't know, or a policeman with asthma. Why can't they employ people in the army with asthma and tattoos? Perhaps other countries do it, I don't know. It gives more people a chance to start up if a war does break out. But you don't want people run out of breath when they're running. Well, it's true, yeah. Could they be in the passenger seat of a car or be on the machine gun in the army, or work in the kitchen, or I don't know, work in the weapons department just in case they've had an asthma attack, and have somebody with them just in case they need their inhalers? Can they do other jobs? Or, there's nothing wrong with being in the front line unless you can do your work and take your inhaler, Anyway, tell me what you think about this, guys, girls, ladies and boys and girls. If war does happen, would you join? If you had asthma, if you had tattoos, if they letted you, I better go. Thank you, John. Peace. Take it easy.